Hello students, today we'll be discussing CUET paper 2022. Again, before starting with the discussion of the question paper, I suggest you all people be thorough with all the formulas of your class 12 so that you don't face any problem while using the result directly. Right? So let us move to the question number 1. Now, this question is a thin conducting ring of radius r is given charge q. Now we know there is a symmetry, and because of the symmetry, we can say that the electric field due to this part and electric field due to this part at center will be equal to 0. So it means it will be the vector sum of electric field due to AKB plus electric field due to ACDB. The net field will be equal to 0. So we have the condition that electric field due to ACDB will be equal to minus of electric field of AKB, right? So without unnecessary doing calculation, so because it is minus of this sign and the charge given is plus Q, so we find that electric field will be E, right? Because the total electric field due to AKB is E. So electric field will be E and this will be opposite to this. So therefore it will have the direction OK. So I hope this part is clear to everyone. So let us move to question number 2. The question number 2 is based on the interference pattern, and this case involves a fringe width concept. We all know that fringe width beta is equal to lambda into screen distance upon the slit distance. He says the separation is halved and screen distance is doubled. So but a beta dash will be equal to screen distance is doubled and this is half. So therefore this means your beta dash will be equal to kitne times? 4 times. So therefore you have D as the answer, which you can easily apply it. Now let us move to this question number 3. He says the electric potential at a point is Q into 10 is by 11 volt. What is the electric field at this point? Now again, electric field E is equal to KQ by R square and potential is KQ by R. So if we relate these two, so we get what electric field is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught into V square divided by Q. So if we simplify this, we'll be getting the answer 4 pi epsilon naught Q into 10 is power 22. Right? So let's move to question number 4. Now the question number 4 is based on the concept of intensity. We know the net intensity I is proportional to 4 times the intensity into cos square phi by 2. And the question says the intensity at a point is 1/4 of it. So but the intensity is 1/4 of it. So we have 1/4 of maximum intensity is 4I proportional to cos square phi by 2, right? So we have this as the concept which involves the intensity pattern, right? So the intensity is 4I. Now this 4I and 4I goes. So we have cos square phi by 2 is equal to 1 by 4. This implies phi equals to 2 pi by 3. Now but a phi, and now we equate the concept, that is the path of lambda is equivalent to phase of 2 pi. So making this relation, we get delta x is equal to lambda by 3 and this is equal to d sine theta. Fine. So you have all the parameters which are known to you. So we can easily find that this sine inverse lambda by 3d, right? So let's move further. Now the question number 5 is based on the concept of electric flux. We know that how many lines are entering. So how many lines are entering will be equal to the number of lines leaving. So the net flux enclosed will be equal to 0. So without unnecessary bothering, just keep the point in mind, because the number of field lines entering is equal to number of field lines which are leaving. So therefore we have the net flux associated will be equal to 0. So let's move further with sixth question, that is the refractive index of equilateral triangular prism. Now, as we know that refractive index is equal to sine A plus delta minimum by 2 divided by sine A by 2, right? We have done many questions. We know that if this delta is 30 degree, the refractive index comes to be root 2, and if it is the value which is involving the concept of 60 degree, we find that that answer comes to be root 3, right? So if you just, otherwise also you can simply put the values, n is beta root 3, this is 60 degree, this is 60 degree. So simplify and we'll be getting the answer that is equal to 60 degree as a case. Now let us move to question number 7. The question number 7 is a parallel plate capacitor which is charged to potential V. The battery is disconnected and the distance is increase. So we have the formula V is equal to E into D, right? So electric field between the plate is constant. So if you increase the distance, the potential will increase, right? So this is question number 7. Question number 8, we have the combination of the two lenses, right? So we know the formula of the combination of focal length, that is f1 f2 divided by f1 plus f2. He says one lens is beta concave, other one is convex, and you need system to be concave. So concave means the focal length should be negative, and beta numerator is, now this is convex positive, this is concave negative, right? So this numerator will be negative here and denominator should be positive, so as to have net answer negative. So if it is positive, it means you have f1 greater than f2, क्योंकि बड़ा अगर f2 जो है वो बड़ा हो जाएगा तो नेगेटिव वैल्यू बड़ी हो जाएगी, and when you add them you find denominator negative, so negative negative goes, answer will be positive, which means it will be the converging system. But the question says it is diverging system, hence we have this answer, right? Then let us move to question number 9. He says you are having parallel plate capacitor is made by stacking number of equally spaced plates connected alternately. Means, like, you know, the one plate is connected, second is not connected, third is connected. So this is the condition of the parallel combination. So parallel combination, we know C is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3 and so on. You are having n case. As the last plates are not involved, so therefore you have net capacitance which is equal to n minus 1, because n is the number of plates, last is not involved, so n minus 1 into the capacitance. So you have n minus 1 as the answer. Let us move to question number 10. Question number 10 is involving the concept of atom. We all know the formula, energy in nth orbit is equal to z square upon n square into E naught. तो बेटा अगर हम लोग जो है वो एनर्जी ऑफ हाइड्रोजन सेकेंड पोजीशन की कैलकुलेट करेंगे, सो दैट विल बी इक्वल टू ई नॉट इंटू 1 का स्क्वायर अपॉन 2 स्क्वायर विच इज इक्वल टू ई नॉट बाय 4. And similarly, if you calculate, and this is given to us E, and if you calculate E of helium for third orbit, so you find this is equal to E naught. Helium is 2 square divided by 3 square. So this is equal to 4 by 9 times E naught. Now if you add these two results, we find that the energy is equal to 16 by 9 times E. That is for the helium. Let us move further. Question number 11 is the concept of the common potential. That is, V is equal to, whenever you connect two charge capacitors, C1 V1 plus C2 V2 divided by C1 plus C2. So no need to unnecessary put efforts. You are given C1, you are given V1, you are given C2, you are given V2. So put the values and you'll be getting the answer, that is 400 volt. Now 12th question is involving the equation. We know that Einstein equation EV naught is equal to h nu minus work function. If I differentiate E delta V naught by delta nu will be equal to h, right? So this value comes to be the slope of it, right? So we have the Planck's constant h equal to E into slope. So the slope of line and charge on the electron, the B is the answer. Let's move to question number 13. Now, question number 13 is a one which involves the concept of resistances. We know that when you make single wire into a circle and the two diametrically opposite ends are taken, so we find that the length is reduced to half. So as length is reduced to half, resistance as directly proportional to length, it means the new resistance will be equal to half of the original resistance. Now the two are connected in parallel. We have the formula of parallel combination R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. And if you simplify it, you'll be getting the answer R by 4. Now let us move further with question number 14. He says the electron has 1 million electron volt energy. 10⁶ electron volt energy is present. We have the formula lambda is equal to 1240 upon energy, right? That is for, and just put the value of this, that is 1240, but energy in electron volt. So divide by 10 की power 6. Now this will be equal to 1.2 into 10⁻³ nanometer. Then question number 15 is the application of the series and parallel. The question says through 4 ohm resistance current of 1 ampere is passing. तो बेटा यहां से 1 एम्पियर का करंट फ्लो कर रहा है. क्योंकि यहां से 1 एम्पियर का करंट फ्लो कर रहा है, तो जो इसमें से भी बेटा जो इसकी वोल्टेज हो जाएगी वो कितनी हो जाएगी? ओम्स लॉ V इंटू V इज इक्वल टू आई इंटू आर, दैट विल बी इक्वल टू 4 वोल्ट. तो यहाँ पे बेटा 4 वोल्ट हो जाएगा. तो इसका मतलब वोल्टेज जो P और M के रीजन में है दैट विल बी इक्वल टू 4 वोल्ट, राइट? तो P और M की वोल्टेज है वो 4 ओम है. जो मेरे पास फर्स्ट पार्ट जो है क्लियर हो गया. बेटा ये दोनों रेजिस्टेंस जो है वो पैरेलल में है. मैंने आपको शॉर्टकट समझाया हुआ है. इक्वल रेजिस्टेंस इन पैरेलल अगर होगी तो जो उनकी न्यू रेजिस्टेंस होगी, दैट रेजिस्टेंस विल बी हाफ ऑफ इट. So 0.5 divided by 2, which is equal to 0.25. Now if we add all these three, we have the net resistance of down portion will be equal to 0.25 plus 1, that is equal to 1.25. So therefore apply the same concept कि ऊपर का potential नीचे का potential same होगा. So we have 1.25 resistance into current I will be equal to बेटा V equal to 4. So current will be equal to 4 by 1.25. देख लो बेटा ध्यान से, ऊपर का पोटेंशियल नीचे का पोटेंशियल सेम होना जरूरी है, and we'll be having this answer as 3.2. Let us move to question number 16 now. Question number 16 is famous based on Einstein photoelectric equation. So E is equal to delta mc square. But you are given 1 gram mass and get 10 to minus 3. Speed of light is 3 into 10 to the power 8 whole square. So the answer comes to be 9 into 10 to the power 13. So C is the correct answer. Now let us move to the question number 17. Question number 17 is saying a fully charged capacitor is discharged to resistance. Remember that? Energy in capacitor will be equal to beta heat energy. Okay. So energy in capacitor half CV square, and energy produced is equal to mass into specific heat into change in temperature. So that is the application of your basic terms for heat. Heat is mass into specific heat into change in temperature. So if we simplify this, you will find that the temperature raised is by the relation of D 2ms delta T by C, that is the capacitance of the capacitor. So let's move to question number 18. Now question number 18 is based again on the concept that energy of electron in hydrogen atom in nth orbit is minus 13 by 6.6 upon n square electron volt, right? He says what is the energy required to remove the electron from the second excited. Now this point should be kept in mind, but a second excited means n is equal to 3. That's a very important point. So second excited will be equal to n equal to 3, because ground state is the first excited is 2, second excited is 3. Now simplify this. So E3 will be equal to minus 1.51 electron volt. So what is the energy required? That will be equal to minus of energy in third orbit. The answer comes to be this one. Please don't put B as answer, because we know that B is not the answer. B is the energy possessed, and equal amount when provided, the electron will lose. So let's move to question number 19. The question number 19 is involving the very elementary concept. You are having a surface, flux entering and flux leaving. So we know that, like the flux entering is for the negative. And what is the value of flux, beta? Flux phi is equal to Q by epsilon naught. So flux phi is equal to Q by epsilon naught. This means Q is equal to phi into epsilon naught. So Q1 will be equal to, because it is entering, so minus phi 1 epsilon naught. Q2 will be equal to plus phi 2 into epsilon naught. Right? So if you go for calculation of total charge, will be equal to Q1 plus Q2, that is the total charge. And if you simplify, we'll be getting the answer, which is the D answer, epsilon naught phi 1 plus phi 2. So that is the total charge which is enclosed inside. Now question number 20th is involving the case ultraviolet region and infrared. But we all know that ultraviolet region is the one which involves when electron jumps from higher energy level to the first, right? Because first is Lyman, which is ultraviolet, second is Balmer, which is visible, and rest are infrared. So you have 1 by lambda for ultraviolet will be equal to Rydberg constant 1 by 1 square minus 1 by 2 square, which will be equal to 3r by 4. And if you calculate lambda for infrared, you have Rydberg constant 1 by 9 minus 1 by infinity, which is equal to r by 9. And if you simplify, that is the wavelength for infrared region, that will be equal to 9 by r. So that is equal to 9 into 3 by 4 into the wavelength given is 122 nanometer. And if we simplify these relations, we get 823 as the answer. So let's move to question number 21. Question number 21 is involving the concept of electric dipole. We know that electric dipole has two major points, one on the axis and second on the equatorial line. Electric field, as we know, electric field on the equatorial line is equal to electric field on the axial line by 2. तो एक्सियल इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड का हाफ जो है होगा, और क्वेश्चन कहता है बेटा कि उसने डाइपोल को रोटेट कर दिया 90 डिग्री से। तो अगर आपने डाइपोल को यहां से 90 डिग्री से रोटेट कर दिया तो अब एक्सियल पॉइंट से इक्वेटोरियल लाइन पर पहुंच गए। तो इस वजह से आंसर जो है हमारे पास कितना आएगा, दैट विल बी इक्वल टू E by 2. Let us move to the question number 22. This question number 22, though you have not done in class 12th physics in nuclei, but still because it is first order kinetics, so we take the help of your chemistry, chemical kinetics. We know that the amount of radioactive substance upon initial amount is equal to half raised to the power time by half-life. So the question says the half-life is 3 hours, total time is 9 hours. So it means this factor will be equal to 3. So half raised to the power 3 is 1 by 8. So you have D as the answer. Let us move to question number 23. The question number 23 is based for the series parallel concept along with the case of these current and potentials. He says there is no current which is flowing through the resistance R. It means there is no current which is flowing in this part. So it means like whatever it is, the potential of E should be equal to the potential of this, and these two potentials should be equal. So keeping this point in mind, we have E equals to E1 R2 over R1 plus R2, right? So you need the value of E1. The question says like what is the value of E1? So E1 will be equal to this one, right? So let's move to question number 24. Now 24th question is again based on the question which we have just done. That is the amount which is left. In this case, 1600 is the half-life, 64 is the total time. So N will be equal to 6400 by 1600. That makes 4. So what is the amount left? 1 by 2 की power 4. That will make 1 by 16 as the answer. So let us move to question number 25. Now, question number 25 is based on the concept of magnetic field due to straight wire mu naught I upon 2 pi r. So he says from 5 centimeter to 20 centimeter. It means it is 4 times. अगर आप डिस्टेंस को 4 टाइम्स कर देंगे तो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड जो है 1/4 हो जाएगी. So therefore you have B as the answer. Now this question is involving the concept of the junction diode as rectifier. We know that we have only one diode connected, so therefore it is a half-wave rectifier which will conduct in the positive half. So conduct in the positive half, it means the voltage across capacitor will be equal to the voltage that will be equal to, like before that I start, we know that what is root mean square value? Root mean square value is peak value by root 2. So what will be the peak value? That will be equal to root 2 into 220. So we have D as the correct answer. Then 27th question. is very important question, and you must have done this typical question in your preparation for CBSE also. This is a typical question for the straight wire of definite area of cross section. That's very important, in previous question of 25th, we have discussed a thin wire, right? So thin wire is having magnetic field outside, but this is the case of thick wire. Because it is a case of thick wire, so we have variation of magnetic field. So we know that magnetic field inside will be equal to mu naught I upon beta pi a square, that is the radius of the wire, into the separation which is given to us, which is equal to a by 2 and 2 also here. So if we simplify this value, so this is equal to mu naught I upon 4 pi a. और बेटा अगर हम मैग्नेटिक फील्ड आउटसाइड देखें तो स्ट्रेट वायर mu naught I upon 2 pi r is 2a. This is equal to mu naught I upon 4 pi a. You can easily see the two values are same, so the ratio will be 1:1. Then question number 28 is the topic which people have not studied. Remember, we have transmitter, right? We are having receiver and we are having channel. Like you have transmitter, you have receiver, and you are having channel. So the signal is moving like this. So the noise is added at the channel level. So just keep this point in mind. Therefore, we have this as a case. And बेटा यहाँ पर आपके पास जो है वो information है और यहाँ पर आपको user है. These 5 are the elements of typical communication system, right? So जो sound noise है वो channel के अंदर जो है वो add होगी. Now let us move to question number 29. Now this question number 29 is again for the application for the formulas. So B is equal to mu naught n by L into I. So बेटा आपको सारी values दे रखी हैं, current दे रखा है, number of turns per unit length दे रखा है. You just put the value and you'll be getting this answer 29. Let us move to this question, 30th question, the famous question for atom and nuclei part mainly. That is, the size is proportional to mass की power 1/3. बेटा mass की ratio है 8/27, तो cube root में answer 2/3 आ जाएगा. So that will be the case. Then let us move to question number 31. The question number 31 is involving the force is non-zero, right? So we know the formula, but F is equal to QVB sin theta. तो बेटा अगर जो है वो थीटा जो है 0 डिग्री है तो फोर्स 0 हो जाएगा और 180 पे भी कितना हो जाएगा बेटा 0 हो जाएगा. तो ये 2 पॉइंट हमें जो है वो ध्यान रखने हैं कि 0 और 180 पे फोर्स है 0 होगा. तो इसके अलावा कोई भी एंगल होगा तो फोर्स विल बी नॉन जीरो. सो यू विल बी हैविंग दिस एज द केस फॉर क्वेश्चन नंबर 31. 32 question is the effect due to magnetic field on magnetic needle. Magnetic needle itself is a magnet. Magnetic needle itself is a magnet. So when you place this in the magnetic field, we know that because it is uniform case, so therefore we find that torque will be present, but there will be no force acting on it. See, while deriving the relation torque is equal to mb sin theta, we have done this. कि force 0 है, torque 0 नहीं. 33rd question is based on the phasor diagram of that LCR. Tan phi is equal to XL minus XC upon R, right? And the question says 45 degree. तो बेटा जो tan 45 है, that we all know equal to 1. So it means R is equal to XL minus XC. Where what is XL? That is L omega. What is XC? 1 by C omega. And if you simplify this, you'll be getting this relation. Just put the values and you'll be getting the answer, right? The substitution based. The 34th question is a good question which involves the application part. You are having this as the inductor. You know that. Inductor में बेटा जल्दी से सैचुरेशन आ जाता है. तो इस वजह से इस केस में अगर हम देखें तो इंडक्टर में करंट जो है 0 हो जाएगा और ये सीरीज में कनेक्शन है. तो इसका मतलब इसका करंट I1 जो है 0 होगा. इस केस में बेटा इंडक्टर में करंट जो है वो 0 हो जाएगा बट ये पोर्शन दोनों जो है अभी काम कर रहे हैं, तो इसलिए जो I2 है वो किसके इक्वल हो जाएगा, E डिवाइडेड बाय रेजिस्टेंस। इस क्वेश्चन में बेटा इन दोनों में अगर हम मेन पॉइंट्स लेके चलें तो इसमें करंट फ्लो नहीं करेगा, लेकिन ये तीन में से करंट फ्लो करेगा। तो विल बी हैविंग I थर्ड जो है, दिस विल बी I सेकेंड, तो I थर्ड जो है that will be equal to voltage divided by total resistance. So if we simplify this, you find the minimum current जो है वो फर्स्ट केस के अंदर जो है वो है, तो मिनिमम करंट जो है फर्स्ट केस में है, तो जो मैक्सिमम करंट है वो सेकंड केस में है, तो वी हैव A as the correct answer. Let us move to question number 35, statement based question. We know that in case of electromagnetic waves, electric and magnetic field are in phase, but they are perpendicular to each other. They cannot be out of phase बेटा, ये out of phase होंगे तो कैंसिल कर देंगे, तो इसलिए ये नहीं आएगा आंसर। Then question number 36, that is the concept of the real dip. Remember that the real dip angle is equal to the value which is given to us, dip key, and cos of the angle. So this is given to us tan 45, or beta that this is given cos 30. So if you simplify, right, this is 1 and this is root 3 by 2, right? So 2 by root 3 tan inverse will be the answer. 37 is again, like there are number of questions here which are involving the single word which is important. See, it is rotated about the axis. Rotated about the axis means there is no change of flux. So there is no change of flux. So therefore no EMF is induced. Search the words and then proceed. Now 38th question is application. He says RL circuit में power factor 1 by root 2 है. Power factor क्या होता है बेटा, cos phi, which is equal to 1 by root 2, and that is equal to R by R square plus XL square, right? ये आपके पास है। देखो बेटा, ये आपके पास 1 है, ये R है, ये 2 है, ये R square plus XL है। तो विदाउट मूविंग अननेसेसरी डिटेल, यू कैन सिंपली से कि सर R जो है वो XL के इक्वल है ना। जब R XL के इक्वल है, वैल्यू पुट करेंगे 1 by root 2 आ जाएगा। तो ये आपके पास रेजिस्टेंस की वैल्यू इस केस में आ गई। सेकंड केस में बेटा उसने पावर फैक्टर की बात करी, अगेन दिस विल बी इक्वल टू R बाय, दैट विल बी इक्वल टू R स्क्वायर, क्योंकि बेटा फ्रीक्वेंसी उसने डबल कर दी, ये सही, द फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ AC इज डबल, तो फ्रीक्वेंसी डबल करी तो XL डबल हो गया, तो इसका मतलब कितना हो जाएगा 4XL का स्क्वायर। तो इफ यू सिंप्लीफाई दैट विल बी इक्वल टू 1 by root 5. फाइन। सो अगेन अप्लाई एंड सिंप्लीफाई द क्वेश्चंस। लेट्स मूव टू क्वेश्चन नंबर 39. We know that in case of electromagnetic waves, right, in case of electromagnetic wave, you have energies half electric and half magnetic. So the total energy is equal to epsilon naught E root mean square whole square. You are given बेटा इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड का वैल्यू दे रखा है, एप्सिलॉन नॉट की वैल्यू बेटा हमें मालूम है, द आंसर कम्स टू बी 4.58 into 10⁻⁻6. हाँ जी, क्वेश्चन नंबर 40th is the one which involves the concept of total internal reflection. We know we have the relation that is R, this, right? This is H. So you have R is equal to H upon under root n square minus 1, where n is the refractive index, right? So R is 3, H is 4. So you have 1 upon n square minus 1 whole square. So if you simplify, the n comes to be 5 by 3. Now n is 5 by 3, velocity is equal to speed of light in air upon refractive index, right? And if you simplify, you get this answer 1.8 into 10⁻⁸. So let's move to the next question number 41. This question number 41 is involving the concept 1 by focal length is equal to 1 by F1 plus 1 by F2. And 1 by focal length is called power. So that is equal to F1 plus F2 divided by F1, F2. So power is F1 plus F2, F1, F2. The power of combination, as it can be seen, is clear from the relation D. Then question number 42. Again, this concept of resolving power you will have not done. So just keep this point in mind that angular resolution is equal to 1.22 lambda upon the diameter. So you have 1.22, lambda is given to us 5000 angstrom. This is 10 into 10 is power minus 2. So that approximately comes to 10 is power minus 6. 10 raised to the power minus 6 radians, right? So D is the correct answer. Let us proceed to question number 43. Now this 43 question, but please keep this point in mind, it involves bit of maths also. So y is equal to 3 minus x. So y is equal to minus x plus 3. We know the straight line equation, y is equal to mx plus 3. So if we equate, we get slope of the wavefront is minus 1. But the question is propagation of wave. We know like ray of light, but I will just recollect Huygens. The ray of light is perpendicular to the wavefront. So therefore, and you know what is slope? Slope is equal to, what is slope of wave? That will be equal to minus 1 upon minus 1 equal to 1. And slope is beta tan theta is 1, which makes theta is equal to 45 degree, right? So therefore, A as answer. See, some students mark 135 degree also, but remember आपको wave front और propagation का concept जो है distinguish करना आना चाहिए, ठीक है? तो propagation जो है यानी कि जो ray है वो wave front के perpendicular है, right? So keep this point in mind and you proceed with the next question. Now the 44th question is involving the first diffraction minimum. Now we know the formula, but sin theta is equal to lambda by small d, and that is equal to y by capital D. Now y by capital D, as it can be seen, this is equal to 1 by 2. So theta comes to be 30 degree. Right? That's a concept of application of diffraction phenomena. Now, 45th question, you know, like it has so many symbols, the student get confused. But it's very simple point. We have the formula for binding energy, that is equal to delta M into C square. And what is delta M? Delta M is ZMP plus A minus Z, that is mass of neutrons, minus mass of nucleus, which is given to in this form. So, but if you take this on this side and other on the other side, so we get A as the correct answer for that. 46, Zener diode, please keep this point in mind. The Zener diode is for stabilization, right? Remember, oscillator is, if you say oscillator, it is transistor, which is used as an oscillator. Amplifier, that is again transistor. Stabilization, that is voltage regulator. This topic you have not done in your class 12 CBSE syllabus. So voltage regulator is Zener diode and rectification is junction diode. ठीक है बेटा, मैंने चारों के एप्लीकेशन आपको समझा दिए. तो Zener diode is for stabilization, that is why C is the correct answer. Now 47th question is not done by you people in your class 12th CBSE syllabus. So we are having two type of amplifiers mainly, that is common emitter, common base. But we have the relation for common emitter beta is equal to alpha upon 1 minus alpha. So beta can be calculated as 0.98 upon 1 minus 0.98, and this answer comes to be 49. But this is called current gain for common emitter, right? Common emitter के लिए current gain इसके equal है. ये आपके पास जो है वो आ गया. Then we have the formula voltage gain, that is equal to beta into output resistance upon input resistance, and the power gain is equal to voltage gain into current gain. So we have all the values with us. So the power gain is 6.0625 into 10 is power 6. Now voltage gain, as it can be seen, beta is 49. Okay. Then resistance is given to us 500 kilo ohm. That is the output resistance. Input resistance बेटा RI हमें कैलकुलेट करनी है, और जो करंट गेन है that is equal to 49. ठीक है. So you have 49 into this, that is a voltage gain, multiplied by current gain 49. You can find the value of input resistance, that comes to be 198 ohm. So A is the correct answer. Now modulation, remember we superpose low frequency audio signal on high frequency wave. These are called carrier waves and low frequency signals. So this A is the answer. So you have, like, this is a message audio signal, and this is high frequency wave called carrier wave. We superpose them, and this process is modulation, right? So let's proceed further to question 49. 49 question is again this from the syllabus which we have not done, that is the concept of X-rays. So remember the wavelength K is not dependent on accelerating potential, whereas cut wavelength is decreased with increase of the accelerating potential. So therefore, when you the question says when accelerating voltage is increased, तो बेटा लैम्डा के पे तो कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ेगा, और लैम्डा नॉट जो है, अगर हम लैम्डा सी अगर हम लेंगे तो उसकी वैल्यू कम होगी वोल्टेज बढ़ाने पे. तो अगर आप एक्सेलरेटिंग वोल्टेज बढ़ाओगे तो लैम्डा सी कम होगा. लैम्डा सी कम होने का मतलब ये पूरी वैल्यू इंक्रीज करेगी. सो दैट इज व्हाई यू आर हैविंग दिस एज अ क्वेश्चन. देन द लास्ट 50th question again from the syllabus communication system, not studied by you people in the class. So we have carrier frequency is 9 into maximum electron concentration raised to the power half, right? So if you go with second by first whole square will be equal to beta n2 by n1, and if you simplify you'll be getting the answer 1.23. So this is all about the CUET paper 2022, and I've told you people many relations which you will have not studied in your 12th class. Please keep the results and the formulas in your mind so that you are able to simplify with the syllabus, right? Thank you.